All right, so get this. Today we are going deep, really deep into one of history's biggest mysteries.
Ooh, I love a good
I knew
mystery.
you would. So this one is called the Dyatlov Pass incident.
I've heard of that one. Really creepy, right?
Yeah, so picture this. You're on like a really challenging hike, gorgeous views.
But brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, brutal conditions. And that's the scene for this real-life thriller that has kept people guessing for like over 60 years.
What gets me about the Dyatlov Pass is like it just plays on those fears we all have about like the unknown.
Oh, totally.
Like a group of experienced hikers just vanishing in a remote, unforgiving landscape.
It's like, how is that even possible, right?
Exactly. And that's what makes it so fascinating.
Right. So, okay, it's February 1959. We are in the Ural Mountains.
Oh, wow. Okay, the Urals.
Yeah, in the Soviet Union. And 9 hikers are found dead.
Yeah, I know this story, but
But here's the thing. The circumstances are so strange. Not ordinary at all.
okay, I'm listening.
We're talking a tent that's cut open from the inside, bodies found all over the mountainside.
Scattered. Really strange.
Yeah, and some with weird injuries.
This doesn't sound like any hiking accident I ever heard of.
Right, so the pieces just don't fit. It's like a puzzle, but you can't put it together.
So how did a group of experienced hikers on a planned adventure just...
Meet such a mysterious end. Exactly. That's what we're going to unpack today.
To get to the bottom of this, I think we need to start with, like, who are these hikers and what challenges were they up against?
Right, okay, so paint us a picture. Who are these hikers?
So this was not just some random group of friends.
Okay.
They were young, fit, and they were led by, well, this guy, Igor Dyatlov.
Igor Dyatlov.
Yeah, and he was, a seasoned hiker himself.
Okay, so this was serious.
Oh, yeah, and they were, like, going for this level 3 hiker certification.
Level 3 hiker certification. Okay, so what does that even mean? What was this, like earning a badge in the Scouts or something?
Yeah, no. This was way more than a badge. Think of it as, like, the highest you could go in the Soviet system for hiking achievement.
Wow, okay.
These hikers would have known a ton about, like, navigation, survival skills, first aid, you name it.
Wow, so they could handle some serious stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Capable of handling extreme conditions, no problem.
Okay, so these were no amateurs, got it.
No, not at all.
And they chose the Ural Mountains for this challenge.
Yeah, the Urals
That's
get
known for...
harsh beauty, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you're talking sub-zero temperatures, crazy blizzards. This is a place that demands your respect.
Absolutely.
Even for hikers as skilled as the Dyatlov group, the environment, man, it was a major risk.
Yeah, you really have to be prepared for those conditions, I can't imagine.
Yeah, and it's within this very unforgiving landscape that things start to get really mysterious.
Okay, hit me.
They deviate from their planned route.
Oh no, not good.
No, they end up on a peak that's called, get this, Dead Mountain.
Dead Mountain. Okay, so creepy name aside, they then decide to set up camp on an exposed slope in a blizzard.
It just doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't, does it?
Like, why would they choose such a vulnerable spot? It's like they had the skills, I mean.
Yeah, you'd think they'd know better.
Right. It's like a sailor dropping anchor, like, in the middle of a hurricane.
So what happened next? How did anyone even know that something was wrong?
Well, weeks went by, no word from the group.
Oh, man.
Right. So they sent out a search party.
Yeah, had to.
And what they found, man, it was like something straight out of a nightmare, really.
Okay, this is where it gets creepy.
Yeah.
Tell us what they saw.
So they find the tent ripped open from the inside.
Right.
Like someone was trying to get out desperately.
Yeah.
But all their stuff, their warm clothes, food, equipment, it was all still inside.
Okay, so that's weird. Why would they leave all their stuff in a panicked escape in that weather?
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
That's the one that haunts, I think, every theory about this whole thing.
Yeah.
But get this, leading away from the tent, they found footprints in the snow.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. But some were barefoot, some were just wearing socks and paint.
Oh.
Yeah, and here's the eerie part. They weren't running. They seemed to be walking calmly.
So they weren't in a panic. It was deliberate. What, were they walking towards something?
Right. It just doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't.
There's a level of order, in the way they left that tent.
Like they chose to go out into the blizzard.
Yeah, that doesn't scream panic, does it?
No, not at all. This is already so strange.
Right.
Okay, so we have a deserted tent, weird footprints leading away, and then what? They find the bodies.
Exactly. 2 of them were found near a cedar tree.
A cedar tree.
Yeah, and they were only wearing their underwear.
Oh my gosh.
And their hands were scraped raw like they were trying to climb something desperately.
So strange.
Yeah, and then further down the slope, they found 3 more bodies.
Yeah.
They seemed to be, like, trying to get back to the tent.
So sad.
But 4 hikers were still missing.
4 hikers still missing. Okay, this just keeps getting weirder.
Yeah.
Were there any signs of what might have, caused the deaths? I mean,
Well, some of the bodies, they had injuries like broken bones, internal damage, which, I mean,
okay, could be a fall.
right, could be a fall or some kind of struggle.
Yeah, yeah.
But one of the hikers was even missing their tongue.
Missing their tongue. Oh my God, that's disturbing. This sounds like way more than just a hiking accident.
Yeah, that's right. And it gets even more bizarre. When they finally found the remaining 4 months later, buried under the snow, their injuries, I mean, they were horrific.
Oh wow, so much worse.
Yeah, crushed chests, fractured skulls, like they had been hit with some immense force,
So, okay, we have 9 hikers, all dead, some with these like really strange injuries.
Right.
Ripped tent, belongings left behind. What could have happened on that mountain? This is crazy.
It's a true mystery.
It's like a real-life mystery novel.
It is.
Okay, let's try to figure this out. What are some of the leading theories about what happened?
Well, one of the first theories was an avalanche,
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, a sudden rush of snow.
Yeah. Could explain why they, ran out of the tent and some of the injuries for sure.
Right, but wouldn't an avalanche have left, a lot of evidence?
You'd think so.
Damage to the trees, debris, that kind of thing?
Exactly, and that's where this theory, it kind of falls apart.
Okay.
There was no evidence of an avalanche, I mean, at least not in that area.
Huh, so the trees were fine.
Intact, yeah, and no widespread debris.
Okay, so avalanche is out.
Yeah.
But what about the fact that some of the hikers were found in their underwear?
Ah,
I remember reading about this thing called paradoxical undressing,
right?
where people with hypothermia start taking off their clothes.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. Because they feel hot? Could that be it?
You're right. It's called paradoxical undressing. It happens when the body starts to shut down from the extreme cold. Yeah, people can actually feel a sudden, false sense of heat. And they start, taking off their clothes.
Even though it's freezing.
Yeah, even in those temperatures.
So maybe they got disoriented in the blizzard, ran out of the tent, and then because of this paradoxical undressing, they started taking off their clothes.
It's possible, but hypothermia, even with that, wouldn't explain all of the injuries.
Right.
Like the crushed chest, the fractured skull. Those point to, a much stronger force.
Yeah, those are some serious injuries.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've rolled out an avalanche and, simple hypothermia.
Right.
But what about those traces of radiation you mentioned? That's where things get, I don't know, really interesting.
The radiation.
Yeah.
That's the most, intriguing clue in this whole mystery. It makes you think about Cold War stuff,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Remember, this was peak secrecy, paranoia. Both the U.S. and the Soviet Union were experimenting,
With dangerous technology.
Ex-
So could they have, stumbled into some kind of secret military testing zone?
Ooh, that's a good one.
A weapons test or something?
Maybe. There were rumors of secret missile tests happening around there.
Right, and maybe the hikers saw something they shouldn't have.
It's possible, right? Maybe they wandered into a restricted area or were even mistaken for spies.
Wow.
Yeah, or maybe, they were exposed to something, radioactive fallout, who knows?
That's scary.
The problem is there's no proof. Not for any of these theories.
Really?
Yeah, the Soviet government, they never admitted to any military activity in the area.
Of course not.
Right. And the radiation levels on their clothes, they were pretty low, not enough to, kill them right away.
So it's a dead end.
Well, not necessarily. We had to think about the whole context, Cold War.
Right.
The Soviet Union was famous for being secretive, covering stuff up.
Oh, absolutely.
It's possible that they just, erased any evidence of military stuff, hid it from everyone.
So even though there's no evidence, it could still be true.
It's exactly.
Wow, okay, so we have the avalanche theory, hypothermia, and secret military experiments. Any other explanations out there?
Well, there's the official explanation from the Soviets.
Okay, let's hear it.
They said it was an overwhelming natural force.
An overwhelming natural force.
Yeah.
That's it. What does that even mean?
Right. It could be anything.
It's so vague, it's like they're not even trying.
I know. It's incredibly frustrating. It's like they just wanted to avoid a real explanation.
Like they were hiding something?
Maybe it definitely fueled all sorts of conspiracy theories.
I bet.
Some people believe they knew more than they were letting on.
Yeah, maybe they didn't want to admit to a military accident or a cover-up. Or maybe they really didn't know.
It really is a mystery wrapped in an enigma.
It is. Okay, so we have those 4 main theories: avalanche, hypothermia, secret military experiments, and this vague natural force.
Right.
But none of them really fit. It's like they each explain a little bit of what happened, but
Eh.
not the whole picture.
Yeah.
What about the local Mansi people?
Ah,
They called the area Dead Mountain, didn't they? They must have some stories about it.
oh, they do. The Mansi people, they've lived in that region for centuries.
Wow.
Yeah, they have a deep connection to the land, their own beliefs about the area,
Right.
and they have stories about, well, evil spirits, supernatural forces living on the mountain.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, some even believe that the hikers disturbed a sacred place and angered these spirits.
Wow, so maybe it wasn't an accident. Maybe something else was going on.
It's interesting to think about, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I believe in spirits, but it definitely adds another layer to this whole thing. Gives you that, like, chilling feeling that, maybe we don't understand everything.
Exactly, and I think the Mansi perspective reminds us that there are different ways of seeing the world. Sometimes science can't explain everything.
Right? Maybe there are things we just aren't meant to know.
Maybe.
Okay, so we've got scientific theories, folklore, Cold War paranoia.
It's a lot.
It's like every element of a good mystery all rolled into one.
Yeah, it really is.
But we still don't have a definitive answer. And what's so fascinating is that it's been unsolved for over 60 years.
I know, it's amazing.
It still sparks debates, theories. It just captures people's imaginations.
It's a testament to the power of mystery, We just want to find answers, even when those answers might not exist.
I know. It's like, is it always necessary to have a definitive explanation?
That's a good question.
Can we just, accept that some things might always remain a mystery?
I think there's beauty in that, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the journey of exploring, trying to put the pieces together, realizing that some questions just don't have easy answers, I think that's just as important.
It makes you think about what we don't know, the limits of our understanding.
Exactly.
And even though it happened so long ago, the Dyatlov Pass incident, it still feels relevant today,
It does.
It's not just history, it's a story that people still connect with.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because it reminds us that we're not always in control, that nature or something else can surprise us, even overwhelm us.
It feels like the Dyatlov Pass is just, I don't know, seeped into pop culture.
Oh,
You see it everywhere, in books, movies,
And in video games.
video games, right?
Yeah,
It's like this mystery has become, I don't know, a modern myth,
totally.
like a chilling campfire story that we tell ourselves to remember, that there are things we just can't explain.
It taps into that primal fear, right?
Oh, yeah.
The unknown, the idea that even now with all our technology and stuff, there are still mysteries we can't solve.
Like we're not always in control.
It's a shame.
That nature or something else can still, like, really surprise us.
Or overwhelm us, yeah.
You mentioned that the case was reopened in 2019.
Yeah,
Did they find anything new? Like anything that could help solve it?
the Russian authorities, they were mostly focused on that avalanche theory.
Okay.
They did a bunch of new, forensic analysis, even created simulations of the terrain,
Wow.
the smart conditions, everything.
So did they figure it out?
Well, no, not really.
Oh.
Their findings were, inconclusive.
Ugh, that's frustrating.
It is, but they said that a slab avalanche, that was the most likely cause.
Okay.
But even they admitted that it didn't explain everything.
So even with all our fancy technology, we're still no closer to an answer than we were like 60 years ago.
It's part of what makes this so fascinating,
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle with missing pieces, a story without an ending.
And maybe that's the scariest part.
It is. It leaves you with that feeling, like of incompleteness.
Yeah, like we may never know what happened on that mountain.
Exactly.
So we've looked at the evidence, the theories, how this has impacted like our culture, what resonates most with you about this case. What do you think about when you think about Dyatlov Pass?
For me, it's that power of the unknown, It's a reminder that no matter how advanced we get, we're still, I don't know, vulnerable to the forces of nature,
Right.
to these like huge mysteries of the universe.
The universe, yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing,
How so?
It keeps us humble. It makes us curious. It reminds us that there's still so much to explore, so much to learn.
It's a story that sticks with you, makes you think and wonder and realize that the world, it's full of both wonder and terror.
And sometimes that line between the two, it's really thin.
It is. The Dyatlov Pass, I mean, it will probably be debated for, years to come.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's okay, right?
Yeah. It's a story that deserves to be told, a mystery to be explored.
And who knows, maybe someday there'll be some new evidence, a breakthrough, and we'll finally solve it.
Maybe. But until then, the mystery lives on.
It does. It really does. It shows us that power of the unknown and reminds us that some stories, well, they're just meant to be unfinished,
Yeah, I like that.
leaving us to figure out what it all means.
To come to our own conclusions, right?
Right. Well, that's it for our deep dive into the Dyatlov Pass incident.
Fascinating case.
It really is. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time.